Erling Haaland, you absolute freak of nature. Yo, what is up, guys? It is SKFC back here with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Haaland and his goal return. So, now that the World Cup is done and over with, the Premier League is going to be returning next week. And so I figured, in the spirit of that, why not talk about the Premier League top goal scorer? And that would be Erling Haaland with 18 goals in 13 matches. The man has been on fire this season. The real talk of the town, of course, has been, how many goals is this guy going to get? How many goals is this freak of nature, this absolute beast, going to get in the league? And that is what we need to figure out right now. So, first thing is first, is that we need to, the first thing we can do, the most obvious thing, is to just look at his scoring rate, and then simply just look at that and then see how many goals can he get if he stays the same rate that he's been scoring with. And in terms of that, in terms of a 38 game season, he's on pace to score I think it's 60 goals. Obviously, though, he's already missed 5 games, hence the 13 matches. So the most games he could play, and assuming he plays every single game from now till the end of the season, is 33. And in that calculation, he's on pace to finish with 46 goals in this campaign. Now, however, it depends on really how you want to calculate this. Now, if we were to calculate it based off of how many games he played last season in the Bundesliga, then he played 24 games in the Bundesliga. So if we were to do it by that much, it would be 33 goals. Which, if I'm to be correct, will still break the goal record for the 38 game season, but just not the 30, not just the 42 one. Well, the biggest, I don't want to say hurdle, obviously, for Haaland, it's definitely his game time. We know that he can be injury prone at times. However, I think usually, what is going to help him out here, since we had the World Cup break, he's really had time to get his fitness in order, not just in terms of niggling injuries, but he just hasn't played any games. So obviously, if there's no games being played for a month, there's less chances of you getting injured. He's going to be fresh. He's going to be raring to go against higher defenses of players who have played in that World Cup, who are going to be tired, who are going to feel the fatigue. So he's going to have the advantage, not that he needs it to begin with. So honestly, it'll be very interesting to see how well he does just in terms of a pure numbers output. Now, if we take a closer look at his heat map, it's very obvious. He likes to stay in and around the box. He likes to stay definitely central to the field. Man is not, drifting off into any wide areas. Nor does he need to. He already has the midfielders in place for him to help him succeed. So that's not even there's no reason for him to do that. And especially if you look at a lot of the goals that he scored, it's very much so quote unquote, I don't want to be an aesthetic merchant here, but it's very quote unquote ugly goals. It's very much goals that come from being in the right place at the right time, making good movement, being very strong, very powerful, being able to really use his length and his height to his advantage to pretty much get connection with certain balls and passes that, generally speaking, most players can't really hit. His goal against Dortmund comes to mind in this regard. So it shouldn't be very hard for him to replicate what he's been doing in the first half of the season. And another interesting read is that the guy is severely overperforming his XG. His XG right now, I believe is an 11.1, and the guy has 11 goals. Not 11 goals, sorry, 18 goals. So, even just in terms of his chances, it would indicate that he shouldn't have as many goals as he does. I mean, obviously, the fact that he does speaks volumes about his quality as an attacking player. So the guy is very much so feeling his form right now. And I mean, at the end of the day, can you really blame him, to be honest? I mean, now in terms of goals in the Champions League as well as in the Premier League combined, so in all competitions, or at least the two most major ones, I mean, right now he has 23 goals in about 18 Champions Leagues and Premier League matches. So, and if I know this correctly, the maximum amount of matches he could play in the Champions League would be about 12. So he could play 12 matches total in Champions League. And in the Champions League, and right now he has 5 goals in 4 matches, so which is about 1.25 in terms of goal ratio. And then if we were to convert that for the Champions League, that in terms for 12 matches, he would be on 15 goals if assuming City made it to the final. So not quite breaking Cristiano's record as of yet, but I mean 15 goals is definitely nothing to snuff at. And it's weird because if you go by a shot chart, which I also took a look at as well, he took about 4 shots, I'd say 3.5 shots for Dortmund last season, scoring 22 goals in 24 matches. And this season, he's scoring a goal in every about 2.2 shots. So he's even more clinical now than he was last year, which could probably speak to, just getting superior chances to score goals. I mean, generally, if you look at some of the chances that he gets, they're not exactly the most difficult of chances to score. So it makes sense that he, from a clinical standpoint, his shooting rate is that high, his shooting accuracy anyway. But I mean, it's still very impressive, and it still definitely speaks to the strength of this Manchester City team and how well they can easily feed him. So honestly, if I were to go, and if I was to give you a number for the Premier League at least, if you were to put a gun to my head, and given everything I've kept in mind, right, the rate at which he's scoring, the amount of games he played last season, the amount of shots he's taking to score these goals, I would probably have to settle at like 40. 40 would be the number that I think he would get. And obviously I think he would have the potential to get more if he played more games. However, he already missed 5 games to begin with, and even with the added rest, the schedule, the second half of the season, looking very, very hectic. And Pep is the type of manager that likes to rotate, when he can. So I just don't see him getting the amount of minutes that he needs to really destroy the goal scoring record. I mean, 40 goals is already pretty much destruction as it is, but I don't see him getting prime Messi Ronaldo numbers. Not because I don't think he can, but because I don't think he just doesn't have he won't have the amount of time to do that. But I mean, yeah, 40 goals in the league, and if he's on pace to get 15 goals in the Champions League, that's 55 goals for the season. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So hopefully we're in for an exciting second half of the season. Let me know how many goals you think he's going to get in the Champions League and the Premier League. If you liked the video, then please make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Please don't forget to like the video for the algorithm. And with all that being said, don't forget to have a good day.